Hi, come on in.
And join in. It's the Very Merry Life. Hi, I'm Mary Hendricks, and you might know me as that relatable AF Mama over on Instagram who hopefully feels like an old friend at this point. And if not, it won't be long till it feels that way as we get raw, unfiltered, and very unapologetic in all things motherhood, marriage, sex, and more. From moments worth savoring to moments worth surviving, get ready to leave feeling seen and supported. You have a friend here now, so hey, take a seat. What's going on? Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi. I am so excited to have you on.
I know. I'm pumped to chat tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So
Friday night.
I have Nicole Boyd on, and she is a small business owner of a company called Prept. And she reached out to me, and I immediately looked through her business, and I was so impressed by it. I was actually just going through your app tonight.
I know.
And I'm so impressed by the business itself. And I think a lot of moms in general, if you're listening, if you're a mom, if you're not, if you're just someone that's busy, then you're going to benefit from hearing about our business. But also, I think it's just going to be, I like bringing people on Fridays that are going to inspire us in some ways, that are like a real mom. And again, this is real life moms talking real life things. And Nicole is a real life mom of one, and she can kind of give us insight into her small business and how she got started. Cause I know a lot of people especially moms, are trying to kind of just figure that out, that balancing act.
Right.
But also just like it's a service that she offers that is much needed in talking about self-care and putting that time and effort into ourselves as moms. And we're going to get into all of that.
Yes.
Hey, well, Nicole, introduce yourself real quick, even though I just did, but say hi.
Yeah. No, happy to. Obviously, mom here of 3-year-old toddler, 3-nager Kennedy.
Yep.
My background is really a decade in the corporate world. And then, interestingly enough, this part of the story is that I kind of pivoted from that on maternity leave. And I was in Big Four consulting and, working in banking and different companies, like crazy hours, like crazy work weeks, traveling all the time. And I had this moment to like breathe on maternity leave. And I was like, wow, I'm like hustling up the corporate ladder. Like, is there anything else that I, want to do? Are there any other careers that I could pursue? And I just really had a minute to think about like my life. And I saw some other people starting businesses. And, I was like, wow, I want to work with more women. Like I had this daughter, I don't know. It was like this whole kind of moment where I was like, okay, I'm going to start to see if I can apply all these skills that I learned in the corporate world to starting and solving my own problem for women. I just, primarily in my career, I had worked a lot with like men and, big companies and competing with men. I was like, I really want a company to do something that I was actually kind of passionate about and work with women. So this problem I kept coming back to was as a, millennial woman, like as a professional first and then a bride and then a mom, I always had, I feel like I am pretty stylish, but I always struggle with like shopping and how to find things and finding things in time and what's for me and what colors and how to use my budget. And I wanted like assistance to save time and stress. And then like shop easier, like all of these things. I was like, this should be easier. Like I should have help. And at the time there was like boxes in the market and there was like expensive stylists and I would email the expensive stylist and never hear anything from them. I was like, wow, I'm really not tripping their radar. I'm just normal. And then I was like, the boxes at that point, I wanted something a little more personalized than that, something more than that. So I was like, okay, let me like get something going around this problem and around this market that I saw for, accessible, personalized assistance with style and beauty in this virtual way. And actually we started during the pandemic, and the concept at that point was maybe an in-person, like we were going to send people to people's houses.
Oh, nice.
And then pandemic hit. And I was like, okay, we're going to go all virtual.
Yeah. Right. The pandemic shifted everyone with that stuff. Well, and when I heard about Prepped, when you sent me all the description and everything about Prepped, and when I went through, it was like, so I've always used Stitch Fix.
Yeah.
Stitch Fix is something I've used for 6 years at this point.
Yeah.
And so it's great. However, I don't keep 90% of the stuff that they ever send me, because it's not, as much as you try to go in and you personalize it and you try and tailor it and you can fill out a whole profile and you can put a whole Pinterest board, they don't ever get it right. They don't ever get it right. And I get
That's what I hear. That's what I heard.
And I get stuff and I'm like, why? Like, no.
I know.
This wouldn't feel like, there are some things that I think they did great with maternity wear because it's easy. And at that point you're pregnant and
you're like, I don't really care if
who gives a shit? Just fit something on my body. But afterwards, especially as a mom, like I for one, and those who follow me on Instagram know this about me, I get dressed regularly. Like I get out of I'm wearing PJs right now, but I get out of my clothes every single day for the most part. The only time I don't is when I'm sick. And even then I hate it. Like I just need a change of routine. And a lot of that comes from changing my clothes and from putting makeup on. And there was a time that I didn't do that and I felt awful. So it's just,
I'm so with you. I'm so with you. There's something.
It's just an important thing for me.
Looking put together. It's like a minute for you.
Yeah. It's a minute. It totally is a minute for me. And it's something I build in. It's something I'm not even willing to like
compromise on.
No, because
I am so
to a point where I need to figure it out better, because I almost don't like I was saying to you before we started chatting, was like, I need to start waking up early because I want to start working out and I want to start doing things like that, where I'm like, I will forgo everything other than that as long as I can have time to get makeup and my clothes on.
Right.
And all that stuff is just as important, but that is my priority. Like that is my top priority in everything else, because I know how I feel when I don't do that.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening, I highly encourage trying it. Like I know sometimes it sounds daunting and it sounds silly, especially when you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
It changes things. And for me, like I like to look at some people get mad at me when I say that on social media. I like to look at myself as I'm working a job. Like this is my job. My job is my kids.
Yeah.
And so I wake up and I show up to my job no different than I would if I was getting ready to go to work outside of the house. It makes a big difference in your mindset. So finding clothes like what you do and finding, beauty assistants, styling assistants, things like that it's important. It's a much needed service that I don't think some people realize that it's needed.
No, I'm so with you. Like I love all of that. And like we come back to like, and we pitch investors, it's like everyone wants to look good. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you show up for your job, for being a mom, for your kids. Like you just show up differently when you feel confident. And like, as soon as you were saying those things, it's like, I remember, and I've been here with a child of 3. I'm like, sometimes I have times where it's like 3 days I don't get ready. I feel like a slob. I'm like, slob kebab. I'm like, I need to get out of this outfit and this rhythm. I need to just kind of take a minute for myself and do something. And that's not always the full thing, but sometimes it's just putting on tinted moisturizer. Sometimes
it's just something for me. And that's why I was like, I say that because sometimes what happens it's hard because like, especially on my end, I'm on Instagram. I've been known as like the relatable AF mom. And I've kind of gotten that tagline and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so glad that that's what I've been known as. But sometimes I get people that come at me and they're like, you mean relatable when you're put together? That's not relatable. And I'm like, I hate that.
Right.
Because that shouldn't be a thing. And I used to feel like that before I kind of got into the space. I went through a period. I had 2 kids at the time the pandemic hit, and I just hit such a slump with my kids. And I think I was a little bit postpartum depressed. And I think I was also just, the world was on fire and I felt like crap, and who gave a shit as to what was going on and everything. And I remember like being in the shower, and I like this will always be embedded in my head. And I remember being in the shower and looking down at my body, and it was like a postpartum body moment and all the things. And I remember being like, it's okay. This is how I'm supposed to feel. Like, I remember being like, and looking in my mirror and being like, this is okay. This is how I'm supposed to feel, because this is what moms have been telling me I should feel. Like, I should feel run down. I should feel tired. I should feel like, who cares about clothes? Who cares about anything like that? Like, I'm a mom now. Like, that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
And I hated that. And then,
Yeah.
but I went along with it because I thought that that's what
Yeah.
was expected. And I
Yeah.
felt like shit. And I wanted to just be reminded of me.
I totally, yes.
I'm
Yes.
Mary. At the end of the day, I'm Mary. Like I'm a
Yes.
mom, but I'm a human first.
You
And I
have an
want to feel,
identity.
yeah,
You have your,
I want to know myself.
yeah. Oh my gosh, like resonates with me 100%. It was like, sometimes I'm like, my style's evolved, like things have evolved because I had to kind of refine myself. And I've
Yeah.
had one, I can't even imagine. Two, it's like, it's just another chapter of your life, right?
Yep. Two rocks your boat. Two rocked my boat. Two rocked my boat. Three has been wonderful. We have three and I love it.
Oh my
I love three.
gosh. I don't know
Two, I
how
needed
we do
two.
it.
Two rocked my world, but two was my learning experience. So for
Ugh,
me to two was needed so I can enjoy three.
you're like, I've got this.
I've got this. It's not pretty. It's not pretty by any means. I say
No,
that to everyone. I'm like, it doesn't need to be pretty. Like, it does not need to be like mess free. But
right.
there are certain things that I've prioritized. And I always just remind people of that being like, you're juggling a million glass balls. Which ones do you not want to drop? And
Oh my
obviously,
gosh.
you're not wanting to drop your kids and you're not wanting to drop your family. But for me,
Yeah.
I also don't want to drop myself.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that I fall into that where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to dedicate that in some way. And that could be something different. Like for anyone
Yeah.
listening, like that could be something totally different, whether it's eating good food or like moving your body or whatever. But like
Mhm.
for me, that's all of those things,
Yeah.
plus just getting dressed and making my bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And it's just like when I do feel like in whatever way you invest in yourself, because I love running and a lot of other things other than style and beauty. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you're in fashion. I'm like, I wanted to create this platform and this
Yeah.
business to serve women.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do it because I want to be in fashion. Like I wanted to help people feel more confident in themselves. And well, and to touch on the Stitch Fix thing, like we are trying to do something different in that we're trying to equip women with advice
Yeah.
and like this connection that you're not going to get from that. So it is like, Mary, because do you have green eyes, light brown eyes?
It's like a hazel, like light.
Hazel,
Yeah.
hazel, like light blonde hair. Here's the colors that look best on you. Here's
Yeah.
what's going to look best on your body type. Like,
Yeah.
here's the things to be thinking about for your budget and where to shop. So we're trying to like educate and empower and like be a company found on an experience and advice, not just shoving product down your throat and certainly not being product agnostic. Like we shop Amazon all the
Yeah.
time for moms and women. Moms are a huge demographic for us, but like we'll shop Target, we'll shop Amazon, and then we'll find you some statement, investment piece that you'll wear forever. Like we want to do something different in that space.
Yeah.
But no, oh my gosh, it is just like investing yourself in whatever way. And yeah, it's like some women want it. When you look put together, I just think that I feel like I can show up as a better mom because I'm kind of happy and feeling good about myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, when you're in a better like my mental mindset, you're going to
Yes.
show up better for you. You're going to show up better for your kids. Like when you're
Husband,
happy,
partner.
everyone is happy.
Yeah.
It's like and I've said this before, but you do not need to be a martyr in order to be a good mom. Like for some
No.
reason, we have that correlation where we're like, a lot of people think a good mom, the mark of a good mom is a martyr, like where you have given everything
Yeah.
to your kids. And I like, trust me, I will run through fire for
Yeah.
my children, but I also want to nourish myself in
Yeah.
always because
Yeah.
I can't run through fire if I can't walk. Like,
Correct.
like it's all that
Yeah.
stuff where you have to think about that, where you're like, no, like if I'm gonna, if I'm gonna lift a car off of my kids, I got to make sure I'm strong enough. Like it's all of
Totally.
that stuff. If I'm going to teach my kids confidence, if I'm going to teach my
Yeah.
kids any of that, it has to start with me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to like remind myself of with
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So with you, so you have a 3-year-old. So how do you balance? So, okay. So starting with Prept, when did you start Prept?
April of 20,
Okay.
like smack dab.
Okay.
Boop.
So it's about 3 years. Okay.
Right at the beginning.
Almost. Okay. And then, what did you just have like a few month old at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, you started during maternity leave. And then what was like snag wise, like getting started? Did you hit any snags? Have you been hitting any snags? Have you
Oh
found like,
gosh. Yeah. I mean, oh, it is a constant. So I had a full-time job
yeah,
and I was starting this company and I was a wife and I was a mom and it was a juggling act. I mean, I burnt the candle at both ends. Um, yeah, I was investing a lot in this. I was so passionate about it. I think it was learning balance and like
okay.
not getting burnt out because you're like the glass balls like, oh my gosh, it's so true. And it's like, how do you like do what you need to do in a day? But I had to really learn like Rome isn't built in a day. Like
No.
I'm moving at a different pace than I was as this big four consultant in New York. Like I just my priorities are different. My headspace is different. Like what I can do in a day is just different.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of learn that. And I was moving slower than I wanted to. Um, gosh, I was like, learning to spend money on a company and like invest personally in that. Like every single challenge you could imagine, we like ran into, but like all of those, it's like at the end of the day, the thing that has kept me going is like you make one woman, one mom, like smile and like look good, and you just see the picture, and she's like, "Thank you," and I'm just like, "Okay, we're
Yeah.
we're gonna keep going."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that good and like so rewarding
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, if it doesn't fulfill all my like startup next stitch fix dreams, I'm like, I still will do it. It's that rewarding.
Yeah. Well, and that, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's like the big thing is like kind of
Yeah.
remembering like, I even was talking to a mom today and someone that like in the influencer space I was talking
Yeah.
to, and she was getting discouraged. And just because I think, well, the algorithm is kind of killing everyone
Ugh,
right now.
yeah.
But she just said, she's like, nothing's moving. And I just feel really discouraged right now. I was like, you have to understand, like, sometimes we get really stuck in trying to reach. Like, we
Yeah.
just want to keep reaching and we want to keep getting to the people that aren't following us. Like,
Yeah.
just keep thinking about everyone that we're not servicing, that
Yeah.
we're forgetting about the people that we are, and we forget about the little impacts that we are making. And
Yeah.
I know for me, I've gotten stuck in that constantly. Like this whole podcast, social media
Yeah.
world, it's just that. And I get stuck in that. But I mean, even for me, I was in New York City this past weekend on Saturday, and I was in Macy's department store. You said you're from New York
Yeah.
originally? I could
Well,
tell.
I lived there
I
for a little
knew,
bit.
I knew you had an accent. I was like, I can tell you. I just want
I'm
to
not from the South. No.
no, okay, I can tell you're not. So, but we're in Macy's, and someone, as we're getting on one of the escalators going up, I had someone tap me on the shoulder, and I turned around real quick because I hadn't gotten on, and it was someone, and she just said, she's like, I just want to thank you for making motherhood feel so normal for me.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
said, oh my God, thank you. And we got on the escalator, and some girl in front of me took a picture of me because I was like,
That is like so
I
gratifying.
think
Oh
she
my
thought that
gosh.
I was someone. And I was like, I mean, I'm someone, but
Yeah, you are.
I'm not like that like predominant. So
You may
I
not
was
have
like,
your line at Macy's yet, but
I don't
there's
think
time.
we'll see. It'll be of granny panties. But I it like literally just reminded, even if it was just that one person, like it was only one occurrence in that whole trip, but it was just like so reaffirming that it's
Yeah.
just like the little changes that we make in someone's life are just it's huge. And I think sometimes
Yeah.
we're just always constantly thinking about like
Yeah.
everyone, and we forget about the individualistic pieces of it
No, it's
matter.
so true. And it's like, oh, like the reels are getting the views and you're seeing all the things. And yeah, I had a point where I forgot that long ago. I'm like, like metrics are what you define them, right? Like your reach and this and that. So no, I love that. It is like, you really got to know your audience and like, build and do things for them. And
Yeah, that's all they're there for. That's your audience.
yes,
So it's
yes,
yours. And that's the
yes.
thing. Is like everyone forgets about that. But yeah,
I think like when you lose followers and things like that, like that for me really taught me to hone in on like, don't worry about like that. That's not for you. Like
yeah.
it wasn't for your message or whatever it was. Oh yeah, it's like we're so sucked in these days to some of that stuff, and it's
Oh yeah.
trivial at the end of the day. Like, do you, and the people will find you.
Yeah.
They'll
Well,
want to
and that's the
find you.
biggest thing. And that's like the biggest thing with like social media or not, like for anyone listening, like you don't have to be involved in any of this stuff. I think I have had such an awakening, like personally, between the time of having my third baby to now, and just in my past 5 years of having kids. And it's just like, I am me. Like, I'm not trying to be, I tried this whole social media thing. I'm trying to be like the perfect aesthetic. And I tried being what everyone wanted me to be, like what people expected of social media. And the moment I stopped and just had fun and presented myself exactly as is, the growth came. But that's the same
Yeah.
thing with like my personal life. Like the moment I just kind of like did things for me,
Yeah.
like it was just, it all it all came about. I actually have like I told a friend of mine, I have like a mantra that I repeat all the time. I have it on my mirror and everything. And I'll tell you, because I'll tell
Yeah.
everyone here, because it's my mantra. I say every single day, and
Yeah.
you can say, I don't seek, I attract. Whatever belongs to me will simply find me.
Oh, I like it.
Literally say that every
I
single
like
day. And
it.
I'm telling you, I'm
Well,
telling you right.
it's like, you know, that reel that is like, I don't see guy attract. No, no, no.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, but
Oh, I'll send it to you. It's
I'm
good.
telling you right now, repeat that every single day.
I
Write it
like
down,
that.
put it on your mirror. I don't seek, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. Write
Yeah.
it down. I'm telling you right now, repeat it every day. It will transform your life.
I
I've done
love a
that.
good
I told my
mantra.
friends that, and my friends that have done it, it's like kind of freakish what it
Yeah.
does because it like gets in your mind and you make shit happen.
It's like
But
the manifest, you know?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I'm like, I
Yeah.
never used to be
Me
about
too.
that until I got into it.
I've been into quotes for a long time, but it is like this, like, let me, if you say it enough, oh, there's something weird. It is like,
We'll be back after a quick break.
Eye-Opening Moments podcasts are real-life stories of adversity, encounters, and perspectives. They are moments that can lift your spirits, give you some food for thought, or move you. For the introspective mind that likes to reflect, discover, and find solutions or meaning in a complex life, listen to Eye-Opening Moments podcasts.
Well, no, it's
energy.
totally true because even with like the body confidence and stuff like that, like I I had a moment over the summer. I was actually working for a company with like maternity swimwear.
Yeah.
And so that was a big deal. Like I was 5 months postpartum at the time when they asked me to work with them. And so I
Yeah.
had to shoot in swimwear and I had to make a reel
Oh,
and I
wow.
did it and I took pictures and I was kind of nervous about it just because your body is different and whatever.
Yeah.
And afterwards I did it. The first thing I said to myself after looking at my photos was like, wow, I look really beautiful. And I got in my stories and I just
Oh,
started crying because
oh
I
my
said it's
gosh.
the first time my mind ever defaulted towards that. But it's
Yeah.
taken work. Like that takes tremendous work to get to that point of like that's what the automatic switch goes to
Yeah.
because majority of the time all like it's not easy. Like none of
Yeah.
that's easy to get
Yeah.
to, like, especially when you're feeling out of place and you're not comfortable. Like it's very easy for our minds to kind of go to like, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way this looks on
Yeah.
me. And my
Yeah.
body's different. And this is blah, 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 blah. So it's just, it takes tangible practice every single day, multiple times a day to just like
Yeah. Yeah.
put it into your head.
Yeah. And I feel like it's like time
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's like you're like going through all these motions, all these phases. And then finally, I like similar to him, like it just clicks. I'm like, okay, I'm not back. I wasn't trying to be back. I don't, whatever back is. I was just like, okay, I feel kind of good about myself again.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I feel different. Like I think I'm, in a different headspace, different mindset. But oh my gosh, it's like post baby, it just takes a minute to like find you. So I love that you're like, okay, 5 months, you're like looking at yourself, you're like, I love that. Like I feel
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I wouldn't
I
have
love
ordinarily felt like that. Like I think that that was definitely third baby was like
that.
third baby finally like knocked it in finally home. But yeah, no, it definitely has taken it's taken tremendous practice. It still takes
Yeah.
practice. Like every single day it takes practice. I put up a reel tonight of like me joking around saying like what happens if someone like comes into my DM saying well, I should join their accountability group for losing the
Uh-huh.
baby weight because that happens all the time. But I was like, I looked at that reel and I'm like, I could pick myself to bits with that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Like,
No,
why,
no.
why, why?
Yeah.
There's no point, but it all boils down to feeling good. I think
Yeah.
I've
Or
treated
not.
myself,
Yeah.
I've treated myself good enough
Yeah.
these past couple of months of like really just honoring the body that I'm in now
Yeah.
and finding pieces that work with me. And that's why I think companies like what you
Yeah.
do and Prept and all that stuff is so important because my body's different than what it was 5 years ago. My body is
And
different than it was 2 years
exactly.
ago.
And you're different than that person that you want to look like. And you're different than that, person you follow or whatever it is. It's like, you are freaking unique. You are beautiful in your own way. Like, you need to find what makes you tick. And
Yeah.
it's like, find that for you.
Yeah.
No, I think too, it is like, I love what you're saying there. It is like, I think it's about, finding confidence in yourself and not getting that from others.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yep.
people are going to judge you and say things all the time.
Yep.
But it's like feeling in such a way where you'll attract things and get the energy from just who you are and showing up.
Yep.
So I love that.
Yeah. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. How was everything getting started with marriage and baby and
Constant.
business and everything?
Oh, constant work and figuring out and navigating and post-pandemic and pandemic. Oh my gosh. We went from New York to LA to North Carolina. We were moving like so much. I mean, I loved it because as I had a business, I was like, oh, I'll get to all these cities and like get to all these women.
Yeah.
I mean, growing is hard. And so like figuring out different ways and like if you can be there in person, it's very helpful. But no, I mean, and all the challenges, my goodness, it's like I highly empower and like support and mentor so many women on starting businesses.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It
Yeah.
is a hard, long road. I mean, it like, people say what they will about creators and Instagram, all those things, but like you're doing something that you love that you're trying to do. And for me, even like showing up on social media was hard for my husband. Like showing up on social media, telling my daughter, hey, I got to take a video. Like there's all these things. Like I'm like realizing, oh, I'm a brand. Like I myself, I have to kind of show up and I had to get out of my comfort zone of like, I don't really do this all the time, but like, let me film a reel of my outfits to like show my brand and show me, because people at the end of the day, they resonate more with people than brands. So that has been okay, I have to like put myself out there and, even like be on podcasts and things like that. Like that wasn't a route I chose for my life. It was sort of like, I have this business, I care about it. I need to, shout from rooftops. So
yeah. No, it's a lot. It definitely is.
Kennedy's in half my reels. I'm like, I don't care at this point. Like,
no, well, and that's the thing. Like, I think that's honestly why, like, I stopped care. Like, I find that a lot of my reels actually do well because I don't care.
Oh, they're
like,
so
I don't
funny.
put effort in anymore. And
authenticity, that is
huge. Oh, it's huge. But I think I don't have the energy because I don't want this to be
fake.
I don't want this to be fake, and I don't want this to be a negative thing for my kids to remember. I don't ever want my kids to look back and be like, my mom was always on her phone, or my mom was like like, I don't want this to be a negative thing for them. Like, I want them to see this as with as much respect as they would with their friend's mom who works in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
I want this to be done very, very delicately. Like,
mom
I want
has something for herself.
Yes.
She does every day. Yeah. I love
and
that.
I try to tell them that. I'm like, you have to like, because they're so little and I'm like, mommy's doing work. But I mean, they get frustrated. They're not as much in like my stuff. My older kids aren't as much because they don't want to be, and I will never make them because it's not about them. So I'm like, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
But they definitely, I've had to tailor back things because they're getting older and it's hard. It's weird.
No, it's so true. It's like, I see Kennedy like, oh, mommy's on work call, or like she'll pick up and like pretend she's on calls. And I'm like, is this good? Is this bad? Is it?
Yeah. You go through your head with all that stuff. It's so annoying. Cause you just like, I'm not 100% like a working mom, but I'm definitely not a stay-at-home mom solely anymore. Like this, I have a lot of things I have to do, but it's just, you go through your head when you see them imitating, or like I see Cassidy, she'll get on like a fake phone. She'll go, or she'll grab my phone. Sometimes she'll go, hey guys, today I'm doing this. And I'm like, are you getting that from me? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, where did you get this from? But it, like, part of me is like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very weird. We're still, you and I are part of like the guinea pig generation. We didn't grow up with this. So it's like,
No,
we have nothing to compare it
no, I
to.
know.
That's like the
It's
hard
so
part.
interesting.
Unless we had like a mom that's like a celebrity, like in the camera eye, I don't feel like we could ever.
No,
That's like,
no, this generation of like social media and oh, it is wild. You're so right. And I don't think about that enough, but I am like,
no, it's terrifying actually.
yeah, it is actually.
Because even I sometimes hate it. I'm like, I hate it sometimes. And it's just like, people are
Yeah, we're leaving a trail behind us. Like it is interesting of like to have a business, you have to have presence. Like if you're a brand and personally you have presence, and it's like, like I literally had just brought in from my house like this box of like yearbooks and photos. I'm like, that was what it used to be.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yeah.
like digital everything. There's not a printed photo barely anywhere. It's
No,
wild.
it's weird. It's weird, but it's going to be interesting to see how things evolve over the next couple of years. That's for sure. Oh, crazy. So tell me, what's your goals for with the new year? What's your goal for 2023 with Prept?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just growth in all ways. We kind of invested heavily this year to really build, we're a platform. So women are coming to us to get personalized advice. And every time you're getting personalized advice, you're meeting with a professional. So we really had to like build up our one side of the platform to like facilitate and serve the demand. Because we were getting demand from California. I was in LA, so California, Midwest, East Coast. So we needed all the time zones covered.
Yeah.
Women wanted to book at 12 p.m. of their lunch hour. Like, so we had to kind of balance the platform almost like a Uber, right? Like I read their story and I'm like, okay, wow, like I learned a lot from that. So we kind of really built up this professional base to serve a bigger market. And now we're like pedal to the metal marketing. We have some pretty massive partnerships, like Junior League and women's clubs that we're tapping into a larger customer base. So growing and getting investors, like, because, my aspiration with this company is really that it is a startup. It's growing fast. We have investment that enables us to like iterate on this product. Like doing the things we want to do requires capital. So it's like market, grow our business, get capital to kind of really grow our business and invest in the technology in terms of like, Mary, we know what you have in your wardrobe. We know you as a person. We know your mom and your lifestyle. We know your budget and your preferences. And AI curating like, okay, because you bought those jeans last month, we think this white top is. So we're trying to like do
Interesting. Okay.
Innovation, and that is technology and people. And so we're kind of fundraising for that right now to really build, I want to say like the next wave of technology there. So growing, investing in the company, in like a good pace, right? Like you're seeing, I think it's so interesting to see how a lot of these startups grew so fast. And then now like layoffs and this and that. So I'm trying to be really smart about growing sustainably, even though I want to like skyrocket, right? It's like, there's implications of that. So like growing sustainably, getting the right investors, which my gosh, I'm just like, I've always wanted to start up, and I was like, oh, I think I underestimated the VCs and fundraising, and people ask me about it all the time. I'm like, please let me tell you everything, because I didn't know any of this stuff and I figured it out. So it's a lot.
Well, I mean, but I think that is just so I've had two moms on here previously. One was right here at home. She's like a small business, like she makes a bunch of sweatshirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And she and her husband were on here talking about like all that stuff and getting started up, and how they would sit down at night and Google everything. And they used to go to like Forever 21 to like pick out shirts because they had no idea what they were doing. They just wanted to get product.
Yeah.
And then I had another mom in here that has breastfeeding apparel that she sells. And she said, she was like, every night I would go through and bookmark YouTube pages that I needed to go through and sit down and like I wrote out like a list of like, this is what I'm going to do. And this is when I watch it, I have to do it. Like how to establish an LLC and like all of that.
Yeah.
And it's boomed. Like she's
Oh,
just, but both of these businesses and just hearing, like, I just
yeah.
think it's incredibly impressive, but I think it makes me excited to hear stuff like from you and from all these, because they're all moms and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I just, it makes me excited for my daughters. Like that's
Yeah.
what makes me excited, is like hearing that. And you have a daughter, it just
Yeah.
makes me really excited for them when I hear that,
Yeah.
because I was like, there's so much potential.
Oh my God. Yes.
There's so much potential
do
for
anything.
them to just do. Yeah.
Anything. Right network, right people around you, right desire, taking risks, like just what you're saying, like we were talking before, like just getting up every day. Like I do think I share a lot about my company, my story. What I do always say about that is I don't want that for everybody. Like you have to want that.
Yeah.
But if you do, like, reach out to me, reach out to you, like surround yourself with people doing something around there that can connect you or help you, because it's hard. It's lonely. You don't know everything. So like talk to everybody and navigate it and figure it out. But it is hard because I feel like I never try to share stuff about my company to make anyone feel like they're not doing enough, because just being a mom is enough. I feel like I'm like every day I'm like, whoa, I chose a hard path trying to do more than that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're passionate about it. And that's like, that's the biggest thing, is like,
yes,
I wouldn't be doing this social media. I wouldn't be here at 8:48 at night, like meeting with you. I wouldn't do that. And I tell like Kev, my husband is downstairs right now. Like I told him, I was like, I have a podcast tonight. He was like, okay, that's fine. We could care less, because he knows I truly
love it.
Enjoy it. I love it. I love this. I love social media. Like it's just, I wouldn't be doing it if it weren't worth it, but not worth it financially, worth it. Like,
it motivates you.
It's like, it fills me up.
Yes,
like it's just, it fills me up in some way other than that's like tangible. It's weird, but
no, it is weird. I'm so with you. I'm like, I look around sometimes. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, why am I like up late doing?
Yeah, but I think that's what everyone needs. And I know I need it. I went
something.
Yeah, because I like, so when I graduated college, I went in for English. And when I graduated college, I came home and I went to a pharmaceutical marketing company, and I worked there for almost 2 years, and I hated it. I hated it so much, but I did it because you kind of just came home and you were told you just got a job and you dealt with it for the next 45 years of your life. And you put pedal to the metal and whatever. And I just hated my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's like something that I think is a generational thing. Cause like my parents, even when I quit and then I went to like personal training and I made dirt money, and my parents were like, what are you doing?
Yes.
But I was like, I cannot do that. And I think that's a generational thing where sometimes people look like, just like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? And it's, I don't know. Because I don't think they realize like the passion, like that ignition of like passion in you, what that feels like. And it's just,
it's so
worth it.
It's so true. I even would equate it to like, for me, I'm like, sometimes I feel like there's so many societal like norms, and like things change. And like, I'm so with you. Like I had this corporate job. I was like I look back at my life sometimes like, why? Like, why did I take that route? Why wasn't I even thinking about what I was passionate about? I was just like, oh, make money, have a good job, stamp your resume, do these things. And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, if you're not happy, like do something that fills your cup, that fulfills you, because the alternative isn't great. And yes, it's like a job is a job. And I obviously like can see that path and why people do it, but always kind of strive to find
the thing that's going to make you happy. Yeah. Work and make money so you have a roof on your head. But while you're doing so, try to figure out what you can do that's going to hopefully equate to what that would be, but you're happy doing it.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. I think that was for me. I don't know. I remember working and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, that sounds, I don't know. It sounded miserable to me. For some people, it might not. Like, it just, to me, I was like, I want to do something that's going to serve someone. Like, I just wanted to serve someone that's, and do something for someone that's going to leave a mark in some way. And that's what you and I talked about. It's just like leaving a mark for one person, even if I do that.
Yeah.
And
One person.
One person, but for us now, I mean, I think the important thing is like we're doing it for one person plus our kids. Like,
yes,
I think that's why we're hearing a lot about mom businesses now, like mom owned businesses, because we're getting a fire, and we're not.
Oh, and the mom community is loyal. I mean, they want to support moms. I'm like, you're a mom. Don't ask any questions. What do you need from me?
Yeah, well, same here. That's how I am. I had someone reach out to me the other day, and she said, I have some small business. She said, I want to know your rates for how to promote. And I was like, you don't have to ask me that, because I will promote you for free. I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
And no different than having you on. Like I will never. Yeah. We need to do that in all spheres, because moms are not always the nicest, but moms in general, when it comes to business stuff like that, we are pretty badass.
Oh,
we keep it up.
Oh, yeah. No, it's so true. Oh my gosh. And no, I feel like, it's interesting too. Like, since I think like probably we graduated around the same time, it's like all these other career paths emerge with social media. Yeah. Like you and your podcast, like I haven't even explored that revenue stream, but like it has opened so many doors that like I had a girlfriend that she's a great job at like Google Analytics or like Google, YouTube, something. And she just started Instagram for cooking because she loves it. And I'm like, people knock on the Instagram thing sometimes, but it's sort of just like, let people do what they like, right? Like, so find what you love is the motto.
The summary of
what's the affirmation again?
I don't seek. I attract.
I attract.
What belongs to me will simply find me.
Okay. What belongs to me will find me. Okay. I got it.
I'm telling you right now, write it down, put it on your mirror. I had a friend that wrote it down. And she put it on every surface that she sees in the morning.
I'm going to send you that reel.
Yeah. I wonder if I think I kind of know like the beat, but I don't know if it's the same words, but I'm telling you right now,
it's close.
It's freaky what will happen. And it doesn't always end up positive. Like some people do it and then they get really upset because the way things happen, sometimes they're not like happy about it at first, but then it all works out and they're like, holy shit. It is. I say it every single night, and it's only done ever good things for me.
Yeah. And again, it's that moment to yourself to just like center, like.
Yeah. It reminds you, like, you're going to be the energy that you want to attract. And I'm not like hokey like that. Yes. Like most people know me. I'm not big into like that stuff, but I found it does make a difference. The way you feel about yourself and the way you feel about the energy and the persona that you're putting out there and the attitude you're putting out there is immediately going to attract others. If you are putting out shit, you're going to get shit back. Like that's just how it is. If you put out sunshine, you're going to get back sunshine. Hopefully
it's like the whole karma, right? Like what goes around.
It's true. And I always say like surround yourself with people that feel like sunshine. Like it's just, my mom used to always say that to me. And I'm like, I never really understood what that was like. And until you meet people like that and you're like, oh, like that's what that means. Like people that make you feel good and make you feel happy and comforted. So,
and that like takes work and it's hard to do too. It's like, you see these things now. It's like, oh, I trim my circle or whatever. It is like you kind of gravitate, and it might take a journey to get there, but it's sort of like you do end up like
honing in a little bit. That's adulthood. That's adulthood. I recently talked about that. Like,
yes, it is.
I said, when you become a mom, don't worry about the friends. What did I put out a reel? And I said, if I could tell my younger self something, it'd be, don't worry about the friends you don't have and focus on the ones you do, because when you become an adult, more so a mom, you'll have zero.
I mean,
who has time for friends? But it's true. And it's not supposed to be like a negative thing, but it's weird. Yeah. It's a weird in between, especially you and I, because we have little kids.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think when we get older and our kids get older, I think it's all going to come back to us. It's just, we're in a growing pains of life right now.
Yeah. With our evolution, and you figure it's a new chapter and things change, and people change and friends change and bodies change and
everything changes. So it takes a little bit until we settle, and then once that settles, then we can bring on the socialization again. Hopefully.
So true.
So, yay. Well, tell everyone where they can find you. I'll make sure to include all your information in the show notes. So for anyone listening, you can check out the description for today, and I'll have everything linked in there. Wherever you're listening, if you just look at the title of the podcast you're listening to, you'll see everything in the expanded notes. And yeah.
Yeah, no, our website is www.prept.club, different than .com. We have an app, Prept, personal style and beauty. Find us, at Prept10, I think is our discount code for $10 off for everybody. If you ever want small biz mom advice, please email me personally or find me personally, Nicole at Prept.club. But no, I had so much fun.
Yay,
it was good to talk to you.
Same, this was great. Another episode down and way more to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to share it with others and post about it on your own social media or leave a rating and review. I cannot tell you how helpful and how appreciated those things are for me. Of course, to catch all the latest from me, you can follow me over on Instagram at The Very Merry Life, over on TikTok, The Very Merry Life. And even if you wanted to check out my monthly newsletter, you can do so by subscribing over at theverymerrylife.com. I'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more honest, raw, real chit chat. I have some amazing moms lined up coming on, and shit's going to get fun. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be good.